Welcome to UC News, ucnewscanada.ca. The Canadian Crisis Response. I'm Dr. Dave. Quinte residents are being reminded that they do not have to pay City Hall for services they already paid taxes for. Quinte residents have tax receipts admissible as evidence in a court of law that they paid for legitimate government services, all of which are defined in the Constitution Act. In common language, we use the term liars, cheats, crooks. In law, under the Criminal Code of Canada, the terms are fraud, theft, and extortion, or abuse of position for illegal benefit. We have defined the activities, purpose, and limits of government in our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, saying exactly what government can and cannot do, which the Mayor and Council of Quinte West completely disregard, showing contempt for the law and disdain for the lives of Quinte residents in flagrant violation of Section 31 of our Charter. Under the Criminal Code of Canada, the legal charge is sedition. When their activities directly threaten our lives, and they undertake activities that will predictably gut our lives by gutting our Section 7 rights to life, liberty, and security of person, and they have issued plans to tear apart healthy society, and have taken actions that will directly create conditions of genocide for this generation of young Canadians, the Criminal Code charge is treason. In this case, the concern is not with the basic functions of City Hall, but with the extra activities of the Mayor and Council that have nothing to do with legitimate government and much to do with deception and fraud in the attainment of illegal gains. In such a case, the core components Quinte residents and the courts must assess revolve around competency and mental illness, the question of whether or not they know what they are doing. Do the Mayor and Council understand the meaning of words like public versus private, for example, or have they deliberately twisted and distorted the meaning of these words to commit fraud? The Supreme Court of Canada is very clear on the meaning of their words and their intent, aimed at public versus private benefit, and that the role of government is public benefit aimed at social good. Quinte residents are also very clear that they have paid City Hall to perform certain services of benefit to the public, for that is the purpose of paying elected officials to represent us. It is not merely our Section 2 rights of freedom of belief that this is the role and purpose of government to attend to tasks of mutual concern to us all, but in removal of freedom of association in paying taxes for specific services and nothing more, that there are profound and distinct obligations on the part of employees in government to do the job we have paid them to do. What are we to do when the Mayor and Council refuse to do the work we paid them to do, and further refuse to represent citizens, instead taking strong actions against us, already proven to damage and cripple our lives? Well, we can vote them out. We can form an acting Mayor and Council to do the job of representing citizens in dire need and distress. We can take action in the realm of free enterprise and business. We can discuss publicly what crimes they have committed. We can write this up using our great Canadian tradition of pen over sword and prepare a public class action lawsuit following the principles and practice of legal action made clear in our Constitution Act. We see no need to protest, because even in protest we must define what we want. We must state clearly what the problem is and also make clear the solution. Here in Quinte West, the problem is this: the Mayor and Council are running illegal business operations that are not a part of legitimate government. Quinte residents understand perfectly well that the role and purpose of business is to make and sell things that we need, as any good business meets a need, and that in this trade of work, goods, and services, we have freedom of choice in what we buy. If we have a free and open market, not only do we have freedom of association, but we have the option to create and start a competitive business. We understand that our work pays for the services of government, all of which must address common needs and issues and be of social benefit. In no way is government a business. It does not make products to sell, and furthermore, it removes freedom of association. Because of this, government is no place for private enterprise to run their business plans. If they do so, they become an agent of the government and subject to the limitations of the Canadian Constitution Act and must work for the mutual benefit of the Canadian people. We understand that this Mayor and Council want to run an unlimited for-profit business. If so, then we are free not to pay. We understand that this Mayor and Council want to engage in activities that are far beyond the realms of legitimate government. They want to play in the real estate market. They want us to pay for fees for services we already paid taxes for. If so, we are free to not pay. Of course, we must have a reason to not pay, and we have taken pains to put in writing exactly what that reason is. At the root of the matter, we have deep concerns about competency, mental illness, fraud, theft, extortion, and criminal intent to reject the law and replace our local government with the working mechanisms of an authoritarian state in which citizens have no say about anything that impacts their lives and the future of their children.